Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship and you we ask for help.
As Allah, the Exalted, created, nourishes and sustains the creation, He alone deserves to be worshipped and obeyed. Worship extends beyond acts of worship, such as the prayer or reciting the Holy Quran. The essence of worship is obedience, meaning obeying Allah, the Exalted, in respect to every situation one faces and every blessing one has been granted, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The one who fails to behave in this manner has not worshipped Allah, the Exalted, correctly, even if they pray and fast. As Allah, the Exalted, does not command something a person cannot fulfill, it leaves one with no excuses if they fail to sincerely worship and obey Him in this manner. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 286.
Allah does not charge a soul, except with that within its capacity.
As the structure of the main verse mentions Allah, the Exalted, before worship, it is important that one's worship is sincerely for Allah, the Exalted, and not performed for worldly things. It is praiseworthy to worship Allah, the Exalted, for the things indicated in Islamic teachings, such as paradise, but one should avoid worshipping Him for the sake of other worldly things. Due to extreme short-sightedness and a lack of knowledge, a person does not know what is best for them. Therefore, it is best to avoid worshipping Allah, the Exalted, in order to obtain worldly things, when one does not know what is best for them. In addition, the one who worships Allah, the Exalted, for the sake of worldly things, will often get upset if they do not obtain what they desire. This can cause one to obey and worship Allah, the Exalted, on the edge, whereby they are only pleased when their desires are fulfilled, and become angry when this does not occur. This person worships none other than their desires, even if they prostrate to Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 22 Al-Hajj, verse 11.
And of the people is he who worships Allah on an edge. If he is touched by good, he is reassured by it, but if he is struck by trial, he turns on his face. He has lost this world and the hereafter. That is what is the manifest loss.
Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship.
The second person pronoun used here indicates that one should strive to reach the level of excellence of faith, whereby they worship Allah, the Exalted, as if they can observe Him watching them. This has been discussed in a narration found in Sahih Muslim, number 99. This is achieved through gaining and acting on Islamic knowledge, which in turn leads to certainty of faith. When one reaches this level, they will rarely commit sins and they will strive in using all the blessings they have been granted in ways pleasing to Allah, the Exalted, as they are constantly aware of the divine vision of Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
And you we ask for help.
The Arabic word used in this verse for seeking help refers to when one puts their full effort into a situation, then seeks and expects the help of another. This indicates that one must not adopt a lazy attitude, whereby they fail to strive in the sincere obedience of Allah, the Exalted, and still expect His help. This is nothing except wishful thinking, which has no value in Islam. Islam has a simple philosophy: one will receive according to their efforts. If they put little effort into pleasing Allah, the Exalted, which involves using the blessings they have been granted in ways pleasing to Him, then they should not expect much support and aid from Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 53 and Name, verse 39.
And that there is not for man except that good for which he strives.
The seeking of help in the main verse under discussion has been left general instead of specific. This indicates that one should not ask for specific worldly things from Allah, the Exalted, as they do not know what is best for them. No matter how much experience or knowledge a person has, they will always be extremely short-sighted and ignorant of the outcome and consequences of their choices and desires. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
Therefore, a wise person will only seek divine aid for the things which have been recommended by Islam, such as seeking paradise, and avoid asking for aid in gaining specific worldly things. A Muslim must trust that Allah, the Exalted, will only decree what is best for them and their loved ones. Chapter 9 at Tawbah, verse 51.
Say, never will we be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector. And upon Allah let the believers rely.
This trust is gained through certainty of faith, which is obtained through learning and acting on Islamic knowledge. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
And you we ask for help.
This also encourages one to use the means they have been provided by Allah, the Exalted, according to Islamic teachings, and then rely on the aid of Allah, the Exalted, in all their affairs. One should avoid relying on people as much as possible, as people often let each other down. When one over-relies on others, such as their relatives, they will eventually be let down by them, as no person is perfect. This can lead to bitterness and fractured relationships between people, and it can encourage one to avoid fulfilling the rights of others. The one who practically strives in the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, by using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him, and then relies on His aid, will be rightly guided through all situations, even if this is not obvious to them. Chapter 65 at Talaq, verse 3.
And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him.
Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship and you we ask for help.
As the plural form is used in respect to people, it indicates that one should never become proud of their obedience to Allah, the Exalted, as they are only a single person amongst the countless sincere and devoted servants of Allah, the Exalted, such as the angels. A Muslim must remain grateful that they have been enabled with the inspiration, ability, opportunity, and strength to obey Allah, the Exalted. They must show this gratitude by continuing to sincerely obey Him under all circumstances. This involves using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him. This leads to more blessings in both worlds. Chapter 14 Ibrahim, verse 7.
And remember when your Lord proclaimed, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor."
The main verse also indicates the condition of obtaining divine support and aid in all of one's affairs, the obedience of Allah, the Exalted. This involves using the blessings one has been granted in ways pleasing to Him. The one who obeys Allah, the Exalted, will be empowered by Him to successfully overcome every situation they face, which involves showing patience during times of difficulty and gratitude in times of ease, and they will be granted His refuge in both worlds. This has been advised in a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6502. Every person experiences three states: past, present, and future. In respect to one's past and present, verses 2 and 3 of chapter 1 Al-Fatihah remind Muslims that they owe everything to Allah, the Exalted, as He alone created, sustains, and provides for them. He alone can forgive the past sins of a person and guide them in the present and future to what is beneficial for them in both worlds. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verses 2 to 3.
All praise is due to Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful.
Verse 4 of chapter 1 Al-Fatihah indicates that as no one can aid a person on Judgment Day except Allah, the Exalted, they are completely dependent on Him on this inevitable day. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 4.
Sovereign of the Day of Recompense.
These verses make it clear that every person is solely and completely dependent on Allah, the Exalted, in all their states. The main verse under discussion completes this by declaring that only Allah, the Exalted, is worthy of being obeyed and worshipped, and one can only obtain help in every situation from Him alone. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship and you we ask for help.
Therefore, if a Muslim desires to obtain divine aid and blessings in every state they experience, past, present, and future, they must sincerely obey Allah, the Exalted, by using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5. It is you we worship and you we ask for help. This verse also indicates that the purpose of one's creation is to sincerely obey Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 51 Ad-Dariyat, verse 56.
And I did not create the jinn and mankind, except to worship obey me.
One must bear this in mind when they seek help from Allah, the Exalted, with obtaining the worldly things they desire. Meaning, one striving in this world to obtain worldly things, such as one's provision, should be done with the goal of sincerely obeying Allah, the Exalted, as this is their purpose. This is achieved when one sincerely fulfills the commands of Allah, the Exalted, refrains from His prohibitions, and faces destiny with patience according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship and you we ask for help.
Arguably, the greatest goal a person strives to achieve in this world, which requires the help of Allah, the Exalted, is peace of mind and body. People may search for this in various places, such as wealth or fame or family, yet the ultimate goal in each case is to obtain peace of mind and body. The main verse makes it clear that one will not achieve this ultimate goal, or any other, if they fail to sincerely obey Allah, the Exalted. This involves using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him. Chapter 20 Taha, verse 124.
And whoever turns away from my remembrance, indeed he will have a depressed, i.e. difficult life, and we will gather, i.e. raise him on the day of resurrection blind.
A person must not be fooled into believing sincerely obeying Allah, the Exalted, will prevent them from peace of mind, as this peace does not lie in fulfilling all of one's desires. Religion aims to remove the burden of stress, anxiety, and other mental disorders, which are the consequences of striving to fulfill all of one's desires in this world. Religion aims to put one on a healthy code of conduct, just like a doctor puts their patient on a healthy diet plan. It does not take a genius to figure out that if this patient ignores their doctor's advice and instead indulges in all their desires, they will end up with poor mental and physical health, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, heart failure, depression, etc. Whereas, the one who follows their doctor's plan, even if it prevents them from fulfilling all their desires, will obtain a healthy mind and body. Similarly, the one who follows the code of conduct of Islam will achieve peace of mind and body in both worlds. Chapter 16 and now, verse 97.
Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do.
Chapter 1 Al-Fatihah, verse 5.
It is you we worship and you we ask for help.
The plural form used indicates the importance of unity. This means that Muslims must be unified on a single code of conduct which outlines how to worship and obey Allah, the Exalted, and how to seek His aid in all their affairs. The head of this unified group is the chosen one from amongst the creation, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 3 Ali Imran, verse 31.
Say, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, if you should love Allah then follow me, so Allah will love you and forgive you your sins.
And chapter 33 Al-Ahzab, verse 21.
There has certainly been for you, in the Messenger of Allah, an excellent pattern, for anyone whose hope is in Allah and the last day, and who remembers Allah often.
And chapter 59 Al-Hash, verse 7.
And whatever the Messenger has given you, take, and what he has forbidden you, refrain from.
Therefore, one must never try to chart their own course in respect to their worldly or religious affairs, and instead adhere strictly to the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. In fact, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has warned in a narration found in Sunan Abu Dawood, number 4606, that any matter not rooted in these two sources of guidance will be rejected by Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 3 Ali Imran, verse 85.
And whoever desires other than Islam as religion, never will it be accepted from him, and he in the hereafter will be among the losers.
The main verse also indicates that help must be sought from Allah, the Exalted, alone, through His sincere obedience, which involves using the blessings one has been granted in ways pleasing to Him. The help of others may be sought only when it runs in line with the teachings of Islam, as this world has been created in a way where people need each other. But one must avoid those religious personalities who act as barriers between Allah, the Exalted, and the people, and expect people to kiss their hands and obey them unquestionably so that they can obtain the help of Allah, the Exalted, on their behalf. This is misguidance, as the Holy Prophets, peace be upon them, were not barriers between Allah, the Exalted, and the creation. They were guides who showed the path which leads to Allah, the Exalted. Meaning, they taught people how to please Allah, the Exalted, and they did not teach nor expect people to please them. This is the difference between a genuine spiritual guide and those who act as barriers and gatekeepers between Allah, the Exalted, and people.